Welcome to the GritIron Show with Whitney Breaux, a weekly podcast where we celebrate the perseverance, passion, and lifestyle of women on and off the field. The GritIron Show with Whitney Breaux is a part of the CJC Media Network.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GritIron Show. I'm your host, Whitney Breaux. Hope you're having a great day out there. We're having a good one, and we're recording another amazing episode of the GritIron Show where we're celebrating women who are doing amazing things on and off the field and breaking glass ceilings. We're super excited to always be brought to you by Breaux Body, so be sure to check out BreauxBody.com and at Breaux Body on Instagram and Twitter for the latest gear from my fam that we still haven't identified exactly how we're related, but Breaux Body is always good for outfitting us here on the GritIron Show. And I'm super excited to introduce our next guest to the GritIron Show. Please welcome Rachel Barbieu and Buddy Joe. Rachel's with I'm Changing the Narrative, and an amazing woman who's here to share her story with us. Rachel, thank you so much for saying yes and joining us on the GritIron Show. How are you?
I'm great. Your energy is infectious, and it's probably maybe the only time you're going to have a dog with you on recording one of these shows. So,
but we're excited for Buddy Joe to be one of the first. I've got a pup Corona who's just, and yes, I did get him in the middle of the pandemic, and I do like Corona beer, but he's a little too big, so he will never visit the undisclosed location to visit with us. But like I said, Rachel, we really appreciate you for being here. Your story, your background, and what's brought you to where you are today is truly inspiring, and that's what we're hoping to do with the GritIron Show, is share the personal stories of women doing great things. So give us a little bit of a flavor about your evolution from being in the sports and working with ESPN to where you are now. Fill folks in who maybe haven't followed your trajectory so far.
Yeah, I was a sportscaster for 17 years, and it was awesome. And I thought for part of my life that's what and I was just telling this to LSU football last night, is I thought that was what I was meant to do. It was about me. I was very me-centered. And what I do now, I think about the difference and how I feel, and the comparison to standing on the sideline or voting for the Heisman or hosting the college football playoff, which was fantastic. But what I do now is completely different. And so I was a sportscaster for 17 years. I wanted to, I wanted my name in headlights. I'm not ashamed to say it now because it's part of my evolution, but I wanted the fame. I wanted people to say, Rachel, Barbieu, and move the velvet rope for me and all of those things. And then I guess it was about 2011, I met somebody. His name is Kevin Turner, and he was just diagnosed with ALS. And he walked into my studio, and this guy played for the Patriots, the Eagles. Ed Block Courage Award is voted on by his teammates in the NFL. And he needed help opening his soda top bottle. And I remember feeling pity for him. And he said something on the air that was for everybody else, but was really for me. And he said, "Don't you feel sorry for me?" He said, I got a heads up on my life. I say I'm sorry. I hug my kids. I live every day to the fullest. And he said, you could step off a curve tomorrow and get hit by a bus. And Whitney, every ounce of pity that I had for that man drained out of my body. And from that moment when he walked out, I thought, I'm going to follow him. I'm going to serve him, and did a couple of fundraisers for him. Ended up actually organizing a climb up Kilimanjaro for him, which is insane. We hit a blizzard. We almost died. They made a movie. Mike did narrate it. But I tell players and people this all over the country that that's what can happen when it's not about you. Because, see, I organized that climb for him for somebody who couldn't possibly repay me. And these amazing things, I lived, and these amazing things happened because of it. But he really taught me the greatest secret to life, and that is it's not about you. No. So I'm taking these things. Then 2016 happens, and I see all this dark summer in college football, and I'm like, God, I just can't stand by as a sportscaster and just watch this happen. So I was just audacious enough to create this curriculum called Changing the Narrative, and it was originally Purpose, Passion, Platform, and then my own experience with domestic violence. And then over the years, I never thought that it would get to where it is today. I always thought I'd be a sportscaster, and I would just do this on the side, and it would be a little fun thing, and that would be it. But it got so big, 40-plus schools later, law enforcement, Border Patrol, partnership with the Big Ten, the Big 12, the Northern Sun, and we're growing even more. And, and then so it got so big, I retired in October of 2019 to do it full-time. And now we even talk about self-care, mental health, interpersonal relationships, being a king or a queen, and being royal every day of your life.
Man, I love feeling like a queen each and every day. And I mean, the story that you shared about, it's not about you. I mean, that is something that resonates. I feel like whenever we hear from people that are doing extraordinary things, they have invested themselves in a way that is selfless, but it's also truly authentic to who they are. And I mean, that exudes from you, even as you're as you were telling that story. Tell folks a little bit more about I'm Changing the Narrative and how you've kind of seen that evolve over time and where it is today.
Yeah, it's gone from, and I'm a woman of faith. My shirt says God is dope, and he is, and he's my best friend. And the Bible talks about how he'll take what you thought was something great and he'll blow your mind. and I just never could have seen this in my entire life. And, it goes from just who are you away from the football field or the basketball court or the baseball diamond or the pool or the track or the meet. Who are you away from there? You were not born to just play sports. And then again, my own experience of domestic violence. And then now all these schools and Border Patrol and these conferences and many schools like LSU having me back over and over and over again, being able to have a long-term relationship. I mean, there was a player last night when I spoke to LSU that I'm friends with his girlfriend. I'm friends with his future mother-in-law, because I know he'll marry this girl. I'm friends with him. I know, so many of them. I know their heartaches. I know their trauma. I know what they've gone through. I know their depression. I know, I don't want anything from them, Whitney, other than for them to live at their highest and best self. And so I've got queens on every campus and kings on every campus that I feel like are kind of like my adopted children, even though I don't feel old enough to be able to be their moms. So like my little brothers, my nephews, my nieces, or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty awesome.
You've got genuine relationships, and you've connected with them on that personal level. Yeah. When you see the experiences that college athletes are having each and every day across college campuses, what do you think has to change in order for mental health, for interpersonal relationships and skill building to be a priority for their development?
That's a great question. And it absolutely has to change at the top. The top. It doesn't matter if I come into a football program. Let's just use football, for example. If I come into a football program and talk about you've never been so masculine as when you ask for help. It's not weak to ask for help. Here's the way to do self-care. If they go back to a coach and then calls them a P word or tells them to man up or get your crap together or don't be weepy and cry, or why are you weak? You've undone everything I've done. Yeah. So it's always why I offer to speak to the coaches as well. Because, my gosh, you've got to change the culture from the top up. And that's not just in football, it's in all sports.
In life.
Yeah.
In life.
Because the coaches are just kings and queens, or maybe they're not walking in their queenness or their kingness right now, but they're just young athletes grown up, and I always say this movement is for age 6 to 96. It's not just for college athletes.
I love that. Yeah. Because we're all kings and queens.
Yeah.
We
got it in us.
We do. But you've got to dig deep.
Yes. You got to do the work.
Got it.
And it's not easy to be a king or a queen. I told LSU football again last night, man. I told him, I said, it's easy to be a dog. Easy to be a dog. It's easy to, excuse my just boldness here and being blunt, but it's easy to hit it and quit it. It's easy to do what you want to do. It's easy to make yourself happy. But I'm telling you, when you do that, you don't sleep well at night. You can't look yourself in the mirror deep down in your soul and be proud of the person that's staring back at you. It's hard to be a king. It's going to cost you something, money, time, effort, skin off your back to help somebody. This world's got enough followers. We desperately need kings and queens to stand up and be who they were created to be.
Rachel, where do you get it from? Where does this passion, does this the authenticity to live in your truth?
Yeah.
Where did that come from for you?
Ooh, you're asking great questions. I have known, and I'm going to cry now. I have known, usually I call them happy tears, but these are cathartic tears. I have, one of my preacher friends said the other day, he said, I want you to graduate from the school of hard knocks. I've lost my mom. I've lost my dad. I've just had some incredibly tough valleys, and I have every reason to be bitter. I have every reason to have quit. I have every reason to hate the world. But I was raised by, my grandmother was a bartender, and she was like an angel behind the bar. Like, she just was, you know, she would get Christmas cards at Christmas from ladies of the night, from mayors, from country stars, she waited on John Wayne, Truman Capote, Sonny Smith, Bear Bryant, Webb Sanderson. She went to a Christmas party with Truman Capote.
She was the woman.
She was the woman. But she taught me that people matter and people are your currency. And because of that, I'm a billionaire. And then I was also, my mama, after she passed, my mom and I became, we had a hard relationship, harder before that, but then we became the best of friends. And she always taught me, you've got your good name, your word. And she taught me, I think one of the greatest secrets as well is that when you mess up, don't hide from God. Get up and run and chase him with a fervor that scares hell. So I just had these two great women along with my adopted dad who served people in private that just were really about people. And they were the hardest workers. And so I think, and then also, here's what I tell people all the time, Whitney, and somebody can take it from watching this. I don't want you to go serve to serve.
Absolutely. Find
what sets your soul on fire and run towards it with everything you got. If I was trying to do Meals on Wheels, 4.5 years ago, I would have quit 2 months in. It's not that I don't think elderly people need to eat. Absolutely. But I'm not passionate about that. I'm passionate about people living as kings and queens. Also because, Whitney, for a large part of my life, I had daddy issues. I had a stepdad, an adopted dad, and a biological dad. Like, if there was a sitcom named after me, it'd be My Three Dads.
My Three Dads.
So I had daddy issues, and I had like holes the size of Texas. I was trying to fill in my soul, and I've tried to fill in with people, substances, things, men. And I did not know I was a queen. I did not love myself. I did not have standards and boundaries. And I always say now, I'm in therapy, I'm a queen under construction.
Absolutely.
I'm still trying to figure out my triggers and how my childhood affected me and how to love better and all of those things. And so I think combined with the people that love me and the life I had, and then also not living as a queen and how painful that was, and now living as a queen, I want people desperately to feel the way I feel.
That feeling is something like you almost can't even explain it. I mean, after fighting breast cancer myself, and I know we connected with, you sharing the story of your mom, you for so long have tried to do things the way everyone wanted you to do them.
Yeah.
And then to your point about the gentleman with ALS, you finally wake up one day and you're like, holy crap, like this thing could be over. And if I don't start doing something that feeds my soul, then what am I doing here? But that's the purpose of this. I mean, if I'm being honest with you and just in being in my truth, as we've shared so many times before, I mean, Carly McCord, as I shared with you,
was just about to bring her up.
It's
she's here with us.
She is. And every time I do something, I walk out of the room and I say, you know what, man, that felt good. And man, she's with us. And her mom was with us for our first episode, and we're gonna continue to celebrate her. But I have to tell you, Rachel, like one of the things that I don't want to use the word regret, but I haven't found a better word for it yet, but I never told her about this idea of us doing this show together. And then after fighting cancer myself, I said, my Lord, what am I doing? And he said, let me keep course correcting you on this journey to where I want you to go. And that's what we're hoping more people will get out of GritIron Show through the stories of women that are associated with athletics and with sports. But I mean, your story just continues I know it will continue to resonate with so many people. But I gotta ask you a question, because you posted a tweet the other day that spoke to me. And I said, as soon as I get the chance, I gotta ask her about it. And you said, people fall into two categories. You said, I can't get it done, or I'll find another way to get it done. Tell me a little bit more about what that means. And for people who may be asking themselves that question, what should they uncover about themselves in that answer? Okay,
it simply came from, and let me be ambiguous so people can't trace back what this is, but it came from, there was a situation and I was on an email chain with people, and I was telling them my situation, asking them to have heart and asking them to help me get this handled. And they kept coming back in this email back and forth and saying, sorry, that's not the way it's done. We can't get it done. No compassion, no heart. This is how it's done. No, we can't deviate. And I was crestfallen, and it made me think about if I were on the other side of that email and somebody had shared with me, hey, this is kind of what I'm going through right now, and can you help me? I am the type of person that would have said, hold on, let me just see what I can do. I can't make any promises, but let me see what I can do. There are people in this world who are, they're not walking in everything they're meant to walk in, or their mind is limited. And they're just like, nope, can't be done, can't be done. Nope, that's the way it's done. It's the way it's always been done. When I started this movement, people were like, boys will be boys. You ain't going to change nothing. I had people say that to me. I had somebody say to me on the air, do they even listen to you? Do they even eat Skittles and look at their phone? I was like, what? Like, you're saying this to me on the air. Like, people are going, the higher you go, the more haters you have.
Of course.
So, you know, that was born out of that really frustration for somebody saying, I'm in a situation. Here's what's going on with me personally. I'm telling you what's happening with me. Can you help me?
Right.
And they still shut it down and said, nope, this is the way it's done. This is the way it's got to be done. And I had to pull rank and go around them and say, and the person that ended up calling me said, oh yeah, we'll fix it.
That easy.
That easy. But it's a mindset, Whitney.
Where does that come from? Because I think, again, whether you're a mom, you're a corporate leader, wherever, there's a mindset that limits people's understanding of compassion, but also the realm of what is possible.
Yes.
What do you think? What do people have to do to break out of that?
Yeah, I think it's a for me, like when I say queen under construction, every single day I'm reading a book on manhood. I'm in therapy. I'm reading a book about how to rewrite my neural pathways with my triggers with my childhood. Like I'm constantly learning and seeking truth and seeking knowledge. So it starts with I think affirmations as well, and also faith for me. I start the day with, I can do anything. I'm a miracle. My feet are on the floor. The devil's scared of me. He's a toothless foe. He's a big roaring lion with no teeth. I heard a preacher say that the other day. I'm like, that's not really that scary. So great. But it's a mindset that I can do anything. Or it's a mindset of, here's the opposite. God, another day. Yeah. I hate my life. This is terrible. And that self-talk is so huge. So do you want to commit to saying anything is possible? Do I want to commit to saying, and you might say, I'm a janitor, Rachel. Will you be the best damn janitor there ever was?
Absolutely.
And you know what? Somebody will look at that and you might go up and up and up. I know many janitors that have gone, several, I should say, that have gone up through the ladder, and people that have gone up to the ladder. I did a women's empowerment event with this lady the other day, went from being a secretary to like the top of her mortgage company.
Because she thought about what is possible and she believed in herself.
The mindset, Whitney, it's the mindset. So you either, I would tell people, post that on a Post-it note. A lot of my people that I talk to do that. Am I sorry it can't be done, or I'll find a way? Post it on your dang mirror and look at it every morning.
Every time I get the word no, I'm just finding another way to get
Girl,
it done.
I say that in the movement all the time. I'm like, listen, and I tell my athletes this and people that I train in corporations and churches, I say, no, other than dating. Now, dating, a no is a no.
That's a hard no.
That's a hard no. That would be called stalking. But no is just an opportunity for me to step back, reframe, and say, what's going on here? And maybe it wasn't the timing. Maybe I didn't put enough effort into it. Maybe my skills didn't match the role. Maybe I need to step back and get some things right to make it right. But a no is not a no.
No is not a no.
Unless in dating.
Hard nose. We want to be clear on the hard nose. Now, Rachel, you mentioned that you're working with people, you're coaching, you're helping people, you're a joy coach, you're a dream coach. I mean, I love that. Tell us a little bit more about if people are interested in living in their truth and being honest and developing their dreams, you know, what can they do in partnering and working with you to help them get there?
By the way, you're just awesome.
Oh.
You were meant to do this. I just gotta tell you, like, my middle name is Joy, and people always ask me, like, is that your real middle name, or is that like a show name? And I'm like, no,
that's it.
My uncle and my mama named me that in the hospital. But you radiate joy, so you need to know that.
Thank you.
So it was a funny thing. About 7-8 years ago, I, over a 7-year period, coached 40 young sportscasters.
Wow.
and would coach them on everything from telegenic skills to writing skills to networking to their resume to helping them get jobs. It was really just kind of like a big sister in the industry, and that was born out of me never having a female. I only had males, so I messed up. I cried in front of the boss. I wore 2 low-cut tops. I allowed people to, sexually discriminate. I mean, all the stuff I went through that I don't want anybody else to have to go through. So I took, after I was really working on I'm Changing the Narrative, I thought for the longest time, I don't have anything. I can't coach anybody. I'm not sportscasting anymore. And then I have a mentor in a mastermind that I'm in. She's amazing. If you ever go outside of sports, I need to get her on. She went from being homeless to owning an island next to Richard Branson.
We need to talk to her.
Homeless next to an island.
Come on now.
Richard Branson. It's called Ariel, and she's amazing. And she looked at me one day and she said, you absolutely can coach. You're the movement girl. You can teach people how to create movements. You created I'm Changing the Narrative from scratch, from nothing. Now look at what you're doing now. And so she said, you're the movement girl and you're the joy coach. And so I love it. I have a couple of people that I coach now. I have one spot open right now, actually, because I keep a really small number to give everything that I have.
Absolutely.
And a gentleman, I have to tell this amazing story that I'm about to start working with in April, teaching him how to speak, how to write a book, how to create a movement, the whole 9 yards. He actually, and he said the whole day led up to it. Like he didn't get gas earlier. He was at this place. He got delayed at this place, but he's in somewhere in Texas, in rural Texas, no lights around, gas station in the middle of nowhere. He drives up on 2 people had robbed the gas station, and the gas station attendant was outside, and they were murdering him. Oh my God. Literally in the middle of stabbing him. And he drove up, and he said, there are people in this world, and I've reported on many of them recently, that would just have driven away or not got. It's not my problem. That's the opposite of what we teach in the movement. Right. He got out and he saved this man's life. He has children, and he saved this man's life. And that's not even like he's got a beautiful life story. And I'm like, we need to teach you to speak. You need to come speak under I'm Changing the Narrative. We need to bring you to LSU and to Clemson and to Oregon and to Alabama and all the places we've been, because it's a different voice. Right. And to teach men how to follow that he said it's like a certain percentage that firefighters and law enforcement have, where you just snap and you go and you don't even think about it.
Fight
and
or
go.
flight, yeah.
And he was like, I want to teach men how to harness that percentage where you act, you move.
And moving is what you're doing. You're building, you're helping to create movements. We're hoping to continue to create a movement with GritIron Show, also with Day 18 campaign, encouraging women to perform self-breast exams.
Love it.
On the 18th day of the month, because I'm 33 years old. I had no idea that breast cancer was even a possibility in my life. And when I learned that 1 in 8 women are diagnosed, I was angry. And so we're using that as part of our movement with GritIron Show to make sure that women think about that and they know about it. But we're excited that you were here today and that you said yes to sharing your movements with us. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us on the GritIron Show.
Yes.
And we look forward to having you back absolutely very, very soon. Stay tuned right there, guys. We'll be right back with the GritIron Show to wrap up.